The average human brain is comparable to about 2.5 million gigabits. Your brain has reached near capacity. What do you delete to free up space? Write down a list of my favorite video games/movies/albums and delete all memory of them so I can experience them for the first time again. Absolutely wouldn't free up space in the long run, but exactly what I would do with the opportunity. Realistically, I'd probably delete memories of grade school since it was terrible. Edit. Long-term memories are stored in a different part of the brain than skills/overall knowledge application/personality, so forgetting 7th grade wouldn't change my life. Most people obviously don't remember everything that's ever happened to them, but things they don't remember still shaped who they turned out to be. Remembering what shaped you isn't a necessary part of being who you are. Not just that, but a lot of feelings we have about something are tied to something else, and it would be impossible to recreate for that reason alone. For example, A Link to the Past is still a great game, however my memories of it are so strong and wonderful because I had never played something like that before. It perfectly encapsulates everything I didn't even know I wanted in a game and made me imagine what games could be in the future. It gave me vision. Now, I would still really enjoy playing it had it a fantastic, well-made game, but unless I also erased the memory of every other game I've played since, it wouldn't have the same effect. I've already seen the vision come to life, so I can't experience imagining it. Or, when I had Mexican food for the first time when I visited America. It's tied up with my experience of traveling there, which enhances my memory of eating this delicious food. It's not nostalgia, the food still tastes great, but it still wouldn't be as wonderful if I don't also get to experience it for the first time while traveling in a new country. Memories aren't stand-alone things. They're intricately wound up with a multitude of other variables we couldn't possibly account for. In theory, yes, because most of the time it's a useless animalistic leftover in our modern world, but I wonder how long it'd take for us to be killed if we didn't have any biological fear alarms in our day-to-day decision-making. Nah, that bus is miles away. It's definitely something that you'd have to grow out of. You don't need to be scared to know jumping off a cliff is a bad idea. Once the intelligence is established, fear is mostly a hindrance. True, you might well be right there. I expect there's been some research into it. But the genetics/psychological learning mix is so hard to test, I realize. As a clinically diagnosed OCD sufferer, though barely troubles me now thanks to intensive ERP, I've always viewed anxiety illnesses as, at their core, leftovers of our prehistoric past rather than relatively more serious mental illnesses like depression or psychosis. Not that they can't be just as debilitating. But we are hardwired to learn to overcome anxiety, so if anyone is a sufferer, it's important to know the research is overwhelmingly in favor of their being surmountable. Edit. For anyone puzzled by what I meant by ERP, https://www.icdoc.org/overcoming-OCD/accessing OCD treatment/exposure response prevention/ it's a therapy that's been around for years but has become much more patient-led/effective in practice. Few accredited therapists would do flooding techniques now. It's hard work, but it works, just takes a long time. Yeah, I think I can safely delete about 8 years from the late 90s to about 2006 when I was a drug addict. That was just a never-ending series of cringe that to this day a random, horrible, memory will pop into my head and I get embarrassed/remorseful/horrified all over again. I have to physically try and make myself stop thinking about it. Of course, the harder I try the more it's there // Edit. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that has these cringy flashbacks, although I wish all of us good luck in ridding our brains of this crap. Agreed that you need some of your mistakes to remind you what not to do, but hot damn, I did some fucked up shit. Wishing everyone who responds or connects to this post good mental health and good coping mechanisms. BC, I haven't found one yet. The only good thing that came out of that whole mess is that I totally appreciate literally everything I have, from a nice dinner to a roof over my head. Paying bills actually makes me happy. I mean, not really, but just knowing my bills are paid where I used to just blow my rent money in one night and get tossed the next morning from the motel with my shit in grocery bags is a happiness that I guess is hard to explain. Never, ever, 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 ever again. Going through it hard at the moment, and this whole analogy is perfect. I come from a now little used computer tech background and am going through PTSD, coupled with trying to manage previously undiagnosed ADHD. Have heard a few comments about my work ethic of late, and me not being able to explain in simple terms what's going on at a processing level. Fucking pop-ups. I'm now looking at it like clicking a link on the desktop for a program. Normally it takes a moment or a few and it loads. Right now though I've got a broken link. Click and click, nothing. I can rummage around and go through the system drive, and program folders and find that program directly if I try enough. Then add in that those links can change at random. 1 minute they'll work, next day poof. This is simply an analogy, for motivation and getting or staying on task, my biggest challenge when my mental bandwidth is clogged with guilt and fear porn downloading on repeat.